Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me get the audio set where I like it. All right. As I said, hope everybody is doing well. Man, kind of started out as a crazy day news-wise as far as the amount of headlines and stuff. And it stayed pretty busy. Fortunately, we didn't have anything. Well, the world didn't end. I guess that's a plus. There were quite a few different things that happened on different fronts. We'll get to that in the headlines. But there was one thing in particular that really bothered me. Before I get into that, I want to mention the video of the day, which is down in the description of the video. And real quick, let me make sure I get it right here. It's titled, "I Put an End to Him Hurting His Girlfriend While Off-Grid in a Tiny House." And it's by Little House Off Grid. We've had some of their videos for the video the day before. However, the difference between before and today is I've actually got permission to play just a little bit of a clip of his video from today. So I actually did not do my homework and did not have it queued up in the background, but it is now. So doesn't take me that long. So anyway, I'm going to bring up the browser window here with the studio, and I'm only going to play about like a 20-second clip, but I want you to hear what he has to say, because it's going to be eerily familiar to something that you've heard other people say. So let's see what he might have to say.
Keep waiting for them to teach me how to prep. I would love for a prepping channel to teach me something that I don't know. How to generate electricity from cow manure. That's the kind of stuff that I would be interested in preppers telling me, but they don't. The only thing they tell you is how to be afraid, and then telling you got to prepare. But how do you prepare?
Well, I'll be. So, again, the channel is Little House Off Grid. The video is titled, "I Put an End to Him Hurting His Girlfriend While Off Grid Living in a Tiny House." That's the name of the video. So I thought it was really, really interesting. Because here you have somebody that's not, he's not a prepper. He's really not. I love this guy's channel, by the way. I think that me and him have very similar attitudes. I really do. And by the way, the rest of the video is good too. The video itself, he talks actually more about chickens in the video than what he does about preppers. So just so you know, a lot of good information about chickens in there, and he's got a lot of good information in his videos. And I guess when I say that, I think we share kind of the same attitude. Part of that is because okay, all throughout my life, I had looked at a job, a task in front of me, and most of the time I come up with my own way of doing it. Now, the entire time that I'm going about my own way of doing it, I'm typically being told by others that I'm not doing it right, or I can't do it the way I'm doing it, or you name it, 100 million things. And most of the time, I succeed, and I actually succeed very well. And it's kind of humorous because I watch him doing the exact same thing. And, it's, being truly independent with your thought is not an easy life to live. It's not, because you will constantly have people try to tear that away, But anyway, excellent channel. I highly recommend it. And I do have a couple of comments about what he had to say. Wow, imagine that. You actually can produce electricity from cow manure. Absolutely, sir. I can't give you all the details because I don't know them. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit here and tell you I know something that I don't. But I do know that cow manure produces methane. And I do know that there are actually farms that actually power their entire operation off of the methane that they harvest from the cow manure. Okay? And they run generators and they power the entire operation, the entire farm from those generators that are ran by the methane that is coming off of the cow manure. So it can be done. It can be done. But I'm disqualified from your contest because we're not a prepper channel. Who'd have thunk it, right? So I'm disqualified from the start. But there is a way. There is a way. Believe it or not, there is a way to do it. I really highly recommend that people check out wood gasification and how to run like small engines from wood gasification, and that's another method that would be good for a long-term grid down situation. So by chance, if you're listening or if you listen to my video, you might want to check out wood gasification as well. So, but yeah, they do actually power things from cow manure. It's a thing. It's a real thing. Farms do it. So I want to say there was a farm around here, local to here, and when I say local to here, I mean like within like 10-15 miles from where I'm sitting. I'm pretty sure there's one that either did or still does run most, if not all, of its operation off of the energy they produce from the cow manure. So interesting, huh? But anyway, let's get to the topic at hand here. And I ran across this. I kept bumping into it today. I kind of couldn't miss it. And it was a story about the Capitol Police and essentially an expansion that the Capitol Police are going to have. And it's not good, or at least they want to have. I'm telling you, this is not a good idea. This is absolutely not. Sorry for not being able to speak. Let me read a little bit of the article to you, or actually I'll read a little more than a little of the article to you, and then we'll kind of go from there. That way you'll have a good idea of where we're at with this. This is not good. This is absolutely not good, and I think you'll be able to pick up on it and why, just by reading what they say. And understand, it says Daily Mail, and pretty much, and it's not the only article I've read on this. I've read several articles on this. This one's pretty verbose. I've read several articles on this, and I really haven't read any that shows Trump in a good light. They all, I mean, it's. Let me save my commentary for later, okay? So let me go ahead and I'll read the bullet points here, and we'll start with that. 6 months, well, let me read the title. 6 months on from the Capitol riot, Capitol Police is setting up field offices around the U.S. Security fencing is still up. Feds are seeking another 300 suspects, and a third of the GOP candidates are pushing election fraud claims. Okay, that's the headline. Here's the bullet points. 6 months after, 6 months after the January 6th riot, fencing remains around the Capitol building. Feds are searching for 300 suspects, including the person who planted pipe bombs at the Democratic and Republican National Committees. More 500 arrested, with dozen already pleading guilty. I guess maybe that's more than. Partisan rancor remains high in halls of Congress, with lawmakers fighting. Meanwhile, a third of Republican candidates for Congress in next year's election are pushing false claim that Donald Trump won in 2020. And the last bullet point is Trump is mulling another White House bid, starting a series of revenge rallies. So, got this big old thing going on in between them. Here's what the article has to say. What? Oh, you're talking about the hoochie mama over there flashing on the screen? Anyway, 6 months after January 6th MAGA riot on Capitol Hill, oh wow, I don't even have it up for you guys. I'm sorry. I thought I had it up for you guys. You guys didn't even get to see the hoochie mama. You're better off. You're not missing. Did I? Man, sorry about that. All right. Let's see. Let me go ahead and start here. More than 500 people face charges stemming from the riot when thousands of pro-Trump supporters stormed the building to disrupt the formal certification of Joe Biden's victory. Many blame Trump for ginning up his supporters with his unproven allegations of voter fraud. The violence led to 5 deaths, a trail of destruction through the Capitol building, and a renewed sense of bipartisan loathing among lawmakers. In the aftermath, the FBI is still seeking information on more than 300 people who were among those in the Capitol hallways that day. That includes a $100,000 reward for the person who planted 2 pipe bombs outside the offices of Republican and Democratic National Committees the night before the riot. The Justice Department has estimated that about 800 individuals may have been involved in the January 6th attack. Let's see. The FBI website on the January 6th riot is filled with photos taken that day, many of which are zoomed in on the suspects still out there. Law enforcement agency asked for information on those who made unlawful entry into the U.S. Capitol building, damaged valuable historic property, and targeted law enforcement and journalists. More than a dozen people have already pled guilty in connection with the riot. Security fencing remains in place around the Capitol, although it is expected to come down within the next few weeks. The National Guard troops, however, have gone home, but magnetometers remain outside the White House floor after some Republican lawmakers admitted to carrying guns in the complex. U.S. Capitol Police, meanwhile, have increased their visibility with officers and canines conducting drills around the Capitol. This is part of our ongoing plan to increase the number of drills and exercises around campus, USCP noted in a tweet. Officers were overwhelmed by Trump supporters on January 6. Many remain traumatized, and morale is reported to be poor among the force. 2 officers, Brian Sicknick and Howie Levengood, died in the aftermath of the riot. Capitol Police are also opening regional offices in Florida and California to deal with threats to members of Congress. Acting USCP Chief Yogananda Pittman, I'm sure I said that wrong, Yogananda Pittman, noted in a statement on the 6-month anniversary. And I know I got the name wrong. I tried, though. Now, I do want real quick to comment here. Their claim is offices opening in Florida and California. So, California, I see no issue with that. However, I see one, I believe his name's Ron DeSantis, if I'm not mistaken, and Florida, that might be an issue. And if I got the name wrong, I'm sorry. But I don't think Florida is going to be as easy. We'll see. We'll see. I want to see it put one in Texas right now. Can I dare them to put one in Texas, please? Try. Anyway, let's continue the story. Capitol Police are also, I already read that. Threats against lawmakers have more than doubled so far this year compared to last year, USCP noted in May. Pittman also outlined other actions the agency has taken in the past 6 months, from increasing training, recruitment, and communication to adding 2 new wellness support dogs, Leela and Philip. Why didn't you just, I don't know, open up one of the extra spare rooms or something and have an extra safe space while you're at it? Just a suggestion. In response to the riot, USCP has asked for a $107 million increase in its 2022 budget compared with its fiscal year 2021 budget. That matter is still being debated among lawmakers. We'll see if that passes. They could certainly get like something like a shed or something and put it up outside the Capitol building, make that their safe space. They have it made. Partisan rancor remains high inside the marble walls of the Capitol complex, with lawmakers unable to agree on a number of issues, including a bipartisan commission to investigate what happened on January 6th. So House Democrats last week approved a special committee to probe what happened that day, including the causes and the effects, as if. Do you ever wonder where people I mean, how could you not know the causes and effects of January 6th? And let's not say Trump. Let's not say Trump. Now, I'm not saying that Trump didn't excite people, or that, and I'm not saying he did and he didn't. And the reason I say that is because I can't. None of us can. Because it's different for different individuals. Some people are influenced. Some people may have been influenced by the things that Trump said and thought that that's what Trump wanted. Other people may not have. So we can't sit there and put a blanket absolute on everybody. But above and beyond all of that jazz, man, here is what concerns me. What happened that day? I keep reading this article to you, and I'm reading the article to you. These aren't the words that I am choosing. I'm reading. I would not choose words like riot. Wouldn't do it. Because it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. Man, if people think that what happened on January 6th is a violent insurrection, they ought to take a poll. And anybody that thinks that what happened on January 6th was a violent insurrection needs to be drafted. Because this soft, and I'm going to get real here, so if there's children, close their ears. But this is bullshit. We are entirely too soft. Man, we don't have to be the harshest, roughest thing on the planet. We don't have to be cold-hearted. Not about that. I'm telling you, what these guys are coming for with this, it's going to be the end of the United States, as we know it, at least. I don't know. They might let us keep the label for a little while. So, You see, because there's a lot of, obviously, the article's got a lot of rhetoric in it because because it's Daily Mail for one, and then because of the subject. But what I was saying, I was saying about January 6th not being a violent insurrection. It wasn't. It wasn't. Had that mob of people, I'll call it a mob of people. I'll go there. Absolutely a mob of people. Had they truly had violent intentions, and I mean on a large scale, you can't pick and choose because this whack job and that whack job had malice intent. You can't do that. You can't find a couple of whack jobs and then sit there and blanket everybody in the crowd with the same intentions. You can't do that. That's one of the things that they're trying to do with all of this. That they're trying to label anybody. And what this here is doing, being back more to the point, is this is expanding that. This is expanding that reach. And in here, it even goes on and talks about how they're going to kind of take a more of an intelligence role. Do we really need another intelligence agency working against the U.S. citizens of this country? Really? Hell, the CIA got bored and I guess took a bunch of rules in this country from the way things look like. It's insane. It is absolutely insane what is going on. So my concern is that any group whatsoever, and I think this is going to tie back in. If you guys remember the blacklist, the what was the words for it? The terrorist watch list blacklist or something like that, and it was a list of things that they declared could get you put on the list, right? And there was like a ton of things there, and I have a sneaky suspicion that list is about to make a reappearance. And it's going to be associated with this U.S. Capitol intelligence arm. And I think all of that is going to be used in conjunction with things like Operation Jade Helm. And I know that to many people I may sound really nuts at this point, this far deep into it. But it's not. It's absolutely not. I've been warning about all of this stuff for over a decade, as I've been watching them assemble all of the parts. Screaming out about the Real ID Act, screaming out about the Viper teams in Tennessee, because they're going to come to play into effect as well. Fusion centers, all this stuff. They did it in chunks, okay? Because it's much harder for people to put it together, what they were up to. Once they have all the pieces in place, all they got to do is connect them. And that's what they're getting ready to do. You say, I might sound crazy, but I've been watching this for over a decade. I can't say that the U.S. Capitol Police in all reality is the standing army that the founders warned us about. I don't know if it's them. Actually, to be honest, I think it's more likely law enforcement. I think there's a high probability of that. But I still think it's a very, very dangerous expansion. I also do believe, as some others have pointed out, that this is going to be another push towards a federalized, a nationalized police force, and I agree completely. That's a part of a lot of the whole defund the police rhetoric that's going around. It's not that the end goal is not to have police. The end goal for those that's truly behind doing this is a federalized police force. It is crazy how the politicians on both sides of the aisle, this isn't just one side, politicians are leading people like the Pied Pipers. It is mind-blowing. Again, both sides. It takes both sides to be able to achieve what they are doing. And I keep trying to explain that. One side could not accomplish what they are doing. It takes both sides, and they're working together. You may not be working with the other side, but they are. It really doesn't matter what you do. Just remember that. So keep your eyes open. And what's one of the famous sayings here? In the end, it doesn't effing matter. It doesn't. The only thing that matters is how prepared you are to respond to it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. You know, you need to know what is going on, but the most important thing is that you're prepared to deal with it. That's it. That's the most important thing. So anyway, let me get some headlines done and out of the way, and I will get the hell out of here for tonight. I woke up a little extra early this morning. I don't know why. I think it was my sinuses that woke me up, actually. I'm not positive, though. Oh, man. I mean, considering I woke up and was choking and couldn't breathe, I'm pretty sure it was sinuses. Normally not like that. I normally don't have that happen. I don't know if I laid some way weird or something. Anyway, let me have a sip of tea and a couple of vapes and fires and explosions and all kinds of stuff still happening all over the planet. Plane went down in Russia. More bodies have been recovered in Florida at the condo. I don't think the other stuff that's stuck out. There was quite a bit. All right, have a sip of tea and we'll get started on it. Teen lifeguard stabbed in Massachusetts after asking guests to leave park. Thought that was a little crazy. Armed drone intercepted near U.S. Embassy in Baghdad after rockets hit base housing American troops. Israel to send 700,000 expiring vaccine doses to South Korea in swap deal after Palestinians reject the offer. It's awful nice of them, right? Expired vaccines, or nearly expired vaccines. Aircraft with 28 people on board crashes near sea in bad weather conditions on remote Russian far eastern peninsula of Kamchatka. I know I probably got that name way off. I said it better this morning when I did the morning news for Patreon. I was actually a little more accurate, I think. Kind of almost had a Russian ring to it. Oil prices surge after OPEC Plus fails to reach deal to boost global crude production. Hong Kong court hands U.S. lawyer 4-month jail sentence for assaulting policemen during citywide unrest in 2019. Top Belarusian opposition figure Babariko, once tempted a successor to Lukashenko, handed 14 years in prison over fraud claims. Let's see. Canadian Keystone XL pipeline owner seeks $15 billion in damages from Washington. Sorry. I get amused too easily. Wreckage of Russian turboprop jet found by rescuers in remote Far East as all 28 passengers and crew feared dead in tragic crash. I don't know a lot of the details on this. I haven't looked into it. Social explosion imminent in Lebanon as nation teeters on brink of economic collapse, says caretaker PM. San Francisco thieves flee with designer handbags during brazen robbery at luxury store Neiman Marcus. I always wonder, right? And I don't know much about it. In fact, I just found out about it not that long ago. But I guess there's a store, is it Pravda or something, and they've got like a display case up in the desert, like in the middle of nowhere. And that's all a lighted, nice display case and all of that. And I guess it's supposed to have, indestructible glass and all of that. And so it's just out there. Now there's cameras, you can see clearly there's cameras on the wall in the little building. But there's, I think it's shoes and purses and stuff, real high dollar stuff that's in there. And I really don't understand the point. However, all this time, how come nobody has ran into that thing with a vehicle? And if it has happened, I'm curious, do they have that thing set up to where that display drops into the ground and doors shut the moment that building's impacted or is breached in some way or another? I'm just curious. I wonder if that display drops down into the ground and a vault door shuts over top of it. I would imagine they would probably do something like that. I don't know. It's crazy though. Twitter loses liability protection for user-created post in India after failing to delete content. Economic activity picks up across India as mobility levels rise. One person injured in stabbing at Dusseldorf airport. Attacker on the run, says police. As U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan proceeds, Putin offers support to Tajikistan after Kabul's troops cross border fleeing Taliban. Hong Kong leader rejects concerns from tech companies threatening to quit city over anti-doxing bill. Twitter bemoans snowflake generation after UK regulator re-rates violent and discriminatory films such as Rocky and Flash Gordon. Woman asks, because we can't have Rocky offending somebody. That wouldn't be right. Russia is ready to respond harshly and decisively to any future U.S. power plays, country's Foreign Minister Lavrov warns Washington. Fully vaccinated people in England won't need to self-isolate after COVID-19 contact, says the health secretary. Israeli Prime Minister fails to gain enough votes to renew ban on Arab family reunification. Student mugs teacher, cyber attack strikes Bitcoin education site with hackers demanding ransom in Bitcoin. A Scottish school cancels To Kill a Mockingbird due to its white savior narrative. Yeah. Someday we're just going to like cancel the sun, right? Because somehow the sun will be racist or offensive, and we'll just cancel it. Beijing issues protest after Japan signals that it would join U.S. to defend Taiwan in case of Chinese attack. A fully fledged British force training Saudi troops in Yemen, report says, hinting at extent of UK involvement in civil war. Russia again breaks daily COVID-19 death records as over 700 fatalities reported for the first time, despite ramping up vaccine drive. Iran accuses Israel of June sabotage attack at nuclear site, said it caused no damage to equipment. Germany detains former political scientist on suspicion of spying for China. French and Germans are to blame for Kiev and, I don't know how to say that, Tbilisi, I have no idea, losing control over swaths of territory, claims Ukrainian security official. Can't even say official, and you want me to pronounce that. Catalonia's nightclubs to close in bid to flatten spread of recent influx of COVID cases in Spanish region. Rock legend Richard Ashcroft pulls out of vaccine-restricted festival and says he won't take part in government experiment. And just to clarify, okay, they were going to require people be vaccinated to attend this event. And because they had that requirement, he said no thank you. So, let's see. Estonian consul in St. Petersburg detained after being caught red-handed by Russia's FSB receiving classified secret documents. Probably the location of the beef. You know, back in the 80s, where's the beef? Yeah. Bad joke. Court demands Twitter reveal how it's tackling hate speech on its platform, French Jewish group says. Australia rejects China's claims it sabotaged Sinopharm vaccine rollout to Pacific region and insisted it's acted in good faith. I act in good faith every day. I do. Let's see. As Taliban gains ground, Pentagon says U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan more than 90% complete. Pentagon cancels $10 billion Jedi cloud computing contract with Microsoft amid Amazon dispute over the deal. And don't think that, oh, they're not going to do it now. Good deal. No. Looks like the Pentagon's going to work out a deal with the both of them. So they're both going to be involved in this. Merry Christmas. Leader of Poland's ruling party hits back at Israeli criticism of draft World War II Jewish property bill. Iran fuel pipeline explosion caused by gas leak kills 3 and injures 4, says state news agency. 20 years and not even a note. U.S. left Bagram Air Base in middle of the night without telling new Afghan commander, says reports. I could understand that. I get that. Yeah. I think if I was the last man out, I think I would want to do it very quietly. Woke Raytheon nuclear missile maker segregates employees, teaches critical race theory, says documents. And that's important because you want those people that are designing the very products to end all of humanity to be woke. Because it would not be right to nuke this planet into oblivion and not be woke. Just, I'm not going to stand for it. It's that ridiculous. Iran notifies UN nuclear watchdog of 20% enrichment of uranium metal for reactor fuel, the IAEA says. IAEAU. Roger Waters says Assange movement is growing, but mainstream media cowed by the ruling class. I would agree. It's always an emergency in New York. Governor Cuomo calls guns a public health crisis. So watch out. I mean, it's not like you can even have them there anyway, but watch out. Because I don't know how they could restrict them anymore. Can't have a picture of a gun, maybe? I don't know. Won't go back into the building. Reporters who survived, and here we go with this language, survived the Capitol riot mocked as Vice says they're still struggling with trauma. Remember what I was saying about too soft? I guess we found who the propaganda worked on. MSNBC's Chris Hayes attacked for retweeting Chinese anti-gun cartoon. Man. I'll try that again. TikTok users flock to Twitter in distress after app goes down. Let's see. 100 plus protesters show up to drunk New Jersey's man's home over racist fight with neighbor that got him arrested. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. A guy got really verbally ignorant with another individual and said some rather racist things. And I mean, it was bad. It was bad. And so anyway, a huge mob of people amassed this guy's home. So, hey, you know, how is it that Red Team always says it? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes? Yeah. It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? Republicans deny media reports that Russia hacked them during a Kaseya ransomware attack. And I probably said that way wrong. Biden seeks to get more Americans vaccinated by taking message door to door and mobilizing COVID surge response teams. Are you listening? I would be paying close attention to that. Got one more headline up here. Brazil's lower house passes bill that would allow breaking of vaccine patents in case of public health emergency. So, that would be the headlines. And by the way, I would agree with you, Christopher. I just looked over there, and I agree wholeheartedly about Fukushima. That is insane what is going on with that. I mean, I don't have any answers. I don't know what they could do. But possibly, you know, you could start by not misleading the people of the planet as much as as they are over that. Man, what is happening there with Fukushima is disastrous, and it's going on every single day. It doesn't stop. And Obama actually put a hush order, a gag order on U.S. media. And that's why you don't hear about it. That's why you don't hear nothing about Fukushima. Fukushima ain't done and gone and all good. No. No. Be a long time for that. Long time for that. But they won't even talk about it. They won't even warn people about eating different types of food from different types of areas. Well, not different types of areas, a very specific area, or around a specific area. But they won't warn people. It's crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on a rant on that, but it's that is something that I am aware of. Anyway, I am gonna get out of here, and yeah, your cat won't eat it. I wonder if your cat knows. I'd be interested to see what a Geiger counter would say. So that's something I'd love to have. Cause well, I don't think it's technically called a Geiger counter. I think it's a radiotometer or something. Yeah, I agree. Christopher, I agree. It's crazy. I don't know. Like I say, all that we can do is keep getting ready, because unfortunately, we don't have much control in any way. And if we found a way to gain more control, the powers that be would very quickly do away with it. So much like, and I hate to make this comparison, but much like a virus, most, if not all of this has to run its course. And the only thing we can do, same thing as for a virus, is get prepared. Same thing, you know. For a virus, you would start boosting your immune system, taking vitamin C, and among other things. You know the deal with prepping: beans, bullets, band-aids, and all the other goodies. So it's all we can do. It's all we can do. So, but I am going to get out of here and relax for the rest of the evening. Actually, I'm probably going to go to bed early. I'll probably be in bed within a half an hour. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you here then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.